Trigger warning, alien photos about to pop up. This is not a UFO meme from the internet. This is inside a declassified UFO FBI file, and there is literally an alien looking photo attached to this. I need you to see what's inside of this first file because it's not just one sighting report here. There are letters. This is about UFO clubs that are starting up, government responses, there's contact claims in there, scientific investigators, and at the very end, they talk about Project Blue Book numbers. And then there's one very strange photo that a lot of people were asking the FBI about. So on page 97, there's this man named Ray Robinson in Winchester, Virginia. He starts to write the FBI and then he puts a photo that is labeled as X on there. And then you see it in page 97 and then in 98 again talking about this image. And then you actually get to see this alien looking figure there, almost skeletal, very small in size. Again, looks more like a Zeta Reticuli gray. And humans on either side of it looking to be like parading it around. And this is stamped in the very first file of the UFO files. Now the FBI is not saying this is real because if you go in through the files, you can see that there's a lot of misleading information there. So there's truthful things, but there are not truthful things. But the FBI write that they have seen this photo before, it has came to their attention, and that they're not clarifying that the people in the actual photo were FBI employees. There's even talks in this file about people who have precognition or contact these experiencers with interdimensional beings and them telling them about this happening here in the future, this open contact event where we start to integrate with interstellar civilizations. So there's these contact groups that were forming around the 60s, it looks like around like 1967, I believe a lot of these started to form up because that's kind of when the star seeds started appearing into the 60s. And so these people resonated with a lot of this information. They started forming groups on their own for philosophy and contact and higher intelligence and consciousness. So it was very mystical and religious kind of occult side to it, but more of that spiritual framework with psychic abilities too. So you do have this scientific investigation side going on, and then you have this contact consciousness side going on in the files too. There was another woman here on page 102 to like 106 here, and she is anonymous, but she goes into the Dallas FBI office and she says that she met with another person from another planet who assumed an earthly form, and she started talking about UFOs being detected thousands of miles from Earth by radar and the activity over Antarctica, and then UFOs that were fired at in Africa. None of it is being presented as proven fact, but it is showing that there are these contact claims about involving beings that are from another planet, and they're being written down and they're being routed and they are being stored inside of these official federal documents here. And this is very significant. Towards the end of that file, around 174 to 179, that's when they get into Project Blue Book in the numbers here. And this is around December 17th, 1969. And these records were transferred over to the National Archives. Page 178, there's a chart here, and there's about 12,618 total UFO sightings, mostly beginning around 1947 to 1969. And then there's 701 still that were unidentified. So the biggest active year that they did have with sightings was around 1952 with 1,501, and then 303 of those being unidentified. So they had all of these sightings around that specific time when they were testing out nuclear activity reactors. They were messing with time-space fabrication, and that goes into dimensional layers, which is why they started showing up, because when you rip time and space, it affects everything else. But humans do not understand this, and they hid it from human population. And this is basically what the whole UFO files are about. They have so many different things, from people writing in saying that they're, experiencing these other worldly beings, these other reverse engineered craft, whether it be their own. There's also speculation again, even in between these conversations with the military personnel, trying to figure out if it's theirs or if it's another country's, or if it is an interdimensional being, or is it located in our sector of the galaxy on a third dimensional level. There's hundreds of cases here that remain unidentified, and this is why I think these documents here are a part of a much larger acclimation process. Yet again, this is going to be dripped paste. The second waivers have no idea what is coming with this, so this is like their introduction again into the big wide world of what reality really is, but not necessarily a full disclosure announcement. As we can see, definitely not a direct aliens are here statement, although it's coming and they're warning everybody on the down low about it. But there's this slow opening for the human population to the possibility of other life forms, other conscious life that exists beyond our own comprehension. And the people here are reporting this contact for decades, and this is what it shows. And they're hiding this. They literally hid it from you forever. And this is the conversation here that has always just been bigger than the nuts and bolts craft. It's not just wow, we see flying saucers, who's flying them and why are they here? And the file shows this pattern that people were seeing these things, that people were writing to the FBI. UFO organizations were starting to be formed way back when. There was contact magazines here that were circulating. Scientists started to investigate into this. The Air Force here was collecting reports. And then throughout the UFO files, you see that they actually initiate protocol on how to report these actual sightings. And then the public here is just being slowly introduced to the idea that we are not alone. And this is where my role comes in. My work here bridges the official records and then the consciousness side of all of this. So to look at the documents, the patterns, the spiritual implications, the galactic memory here, and then this bigger awakening that's really happening in real time. Because disclosure here is not just about the objects in the sky, it is about consciousness. It is about truth and transparency. It's about what humanity is ready to remember. So follow for more real-time updates, because I'm going to be going through these files piece by piece. I'm Sarah Starr, your galactic guide, here with file number 1 of the UFO files. And pretty much all of these files, from what I'm seeing, are kind of the same exact regurgitated things with sprinkles of truth and then lots of lies. Use your discernment psychic power to see what is real and what is fabricated programming.